Welcome back to the latest house tour progress update. Now we're 2 months away from being here for 2 years, so I'm going to switch around, go through the green gate and crack straight on and show you what we've been up to. So, standard view as normal on the street. You can see the outbuilding's been down for a while now, still haven't got around to shifting the tiles, but this new pile of concrete shows that the path has now been removed fully. So what was here with a couple of meters, we've now got a black brick cut in and a lot more other things to show you. So you can imagine, as we're trying to develop the garden and turn it into that permaculture food forest style, there's going to be through different stages of growth. So we've been updating the channel and people, we've got blackberries, blueberries, raspberries in this line and swings round to this corner with some garlic. Strawberries are doing really well, and oh my god, there we go. I'll have that one later, and there's another one somewhere just saw underneath. So we'll have to get some red pebbles so the birds don't eat them. Seen that on Pinterest. But yeah, so not much progress on the house itself from this view, just pretty much just tidying up. So when the path got took out, it left a big dip when all the concrete was removed. So we've been filling this back in. And what the noticeable thing you might see are these two blue poles, and this represents rows of a red colour and rows of a white colour. So we've started using some soil, because in a minute I'll show you where the soil has been coming from. And finally, we got rid of the peach tree stump, and it only happened less than 24 hours ago, and super amazing results. We cut it down, James the Giant Peach. We called it on the first working holiday. So it's been sat and it's been rotting for about 2.5 years. And now the view from the kitchen is obstructed. It gives our little gooseberry bush some space, and there's a little baby pomegranate sapling here. So not much progress, like I say, on the structure. We're going to wait till summer to finish rendering this and get rid of all this crap. But leaving it on the concrete is a lot better than scattering it across the mud. So a massive noticeable difference is we have a third of the summer house now buried and removed. So it looks like it's gone off a cliff, but that's just how the beams are all wavy, and I've just gone straight down with a reciprocating saw and started removing the mud brick side of the summer house. And as I'm getting closer to the footing level, the footings actually stop where this bit is here. And you can see a concrete floor pad for the old tool room, where that's now emptied as well. So it might even be a full rebuild job. Just take it down and bring the red brick, which is that onwards, to rebuild it this way. So huge progress on the demolition of the house. We've got loads of sunflowers coming up. An apricot tree has been planted here. We've got a peach tree. We got another sweet cherry tree there. And the existing apple tree is a green apple tree. So from the market, we planted a red apple tree, which is doing super well. So you can see I started to save some of the mud bricks from taking down the summer house. And these will be used for like a raised bed area. So in 2 or 3 more months, we can harvest the potatoes, which are in 5 rows of 20, and start designing this permanent area for the raised beds, which will then flow into the food forest. So as long as we keep all these trees pretty much the size of the apple tree, we'll have lots of local shaded areas dotted around for the sensitive plants in summer. So the planter's coming on super good. Probably going to come a little bit higher, but we've run out of stone for the double cherry tree planter. The garden divide planter with the integrated stone benches on the other side is coming on quite well. Only a few courses left. So we transplanted our moringa tree to be in the centre of the raised bed area. Might be able to put some benches around it. It's still in its dormancy period, but you can see there's little nibs coming out in places. So we're hoping that's going to shoot up once the sun is well, just a lot more climatised, basically. You can see we had a little bit of leisure, but recently with the big bomb site over there, we needed to make access for the JCB, courtesy of Danny from Welsh Family in Bulgaria. So we moved the badminton net out the way. But you got to enjoy a bit of leisure whilst doing a demolition at the same time. You can see the difference now. And all the trees are starting to go green. This is less than 1 year old Marabella tree. I've mentioned a few times on some of the most recent videos. It's already got fruit on it as well. So the hardcore bed is getting engulfed with weeds. I'm not too fussed, to be honest. Just needs a bit of a trim job. An update on our abandoned neighbour's house, and how all the rain has been getting in, and just recently the render's fallen onto our side of the garden, onto all our material store. Not ideal, bit of a messy job to clean up, but that's pretty much it really. Not a lot going on. Polytunnel's all been tidied up. We've got all the Bulgaria related artifacts. We've got good wood, DIY wood, glass bottle collection, all the little things like that that came out of the summer house when we took down the room. So you can see we're missing a few courses of the white stone here, and the bench has started to form, and this one's next. And we're probably looking at about 15 tons of dirt that I'm going to handball and spread across the garden, because we've successfully managed to dig a 7 by 5 by 1 meter deep pool. And obviously it's a lot bigger than what we need. We're thinking of maybe doing some concrete formwork and rounding the corners off to match the rounded end of the planters. Huge progress. And this is why there's been a delay on the latest house tour video, because I really wanted to time this to be dug to show you the transformation. And we managed to do it. So you can see that's half of it. So if you imagine that was duplicated and it was on this side, and you can see when we're already carving through it quite quick and spreading it across. Because even at the beginning where me and Nish dug it halfway down, that's already been levelled. There's no longer a dip, which there was at the beginning of the year, and it's coming on really good. And the soil's quite rich. It's got a bit of a clay mix, but it's also topsoil. So we were quite lucky with that. So a bit more of a description on the summer house. You can see what I meant about building on existing footings and replacing the mud brick structures for red brick or modern materials. And we're trying to keep on top of the mess. And those are the half bricks, but we're saving the full bricks over there. Not a lot has changed down the back alley. But what I will say is we're still collecting stones, getting rid of the shrapnel. And I'll just show you quickly that the tool room has been moved inside. So now this is just a basic storeroom for the odd bits and bats. Should be able to see that quite well now. And eventually we'll rebuild this wall and have an opening to come into the future dining room and lounge. So Nish, what are you trying to show us here, Nish?
We've got some radishes. Not bad, eh?
Not bad at all.
These are just the little lettuces I'm picking out from in between the big guys.
To thin them out.
To let the big guys grow into big,
bushes.
Bushy. But yeah, these, not bad.
Good turnaround. Good job. So when we took down the ceiling and the joists for the end room roof, we've reclaimed what we can. We're going to use these battens for shelf racking in the cellar. So the cellar's changed its layout as well. And those are the old floorboards that came off the lime plastered ceiling. So they can do for DIY crafts. We're keeping them as well. So everything's looking pretty good, to be honest. Moved all the stones around here, as you can see. So before I go inside, show you a bit more of the garden. That's obviously a peach tree stump, now in its final resting place, ready for getting chopped up in winter. These 3 joists are being kept and donated to our friends in another village. And all the old joists, you can see a lot of them as rotten and water damaged just from the bad structure of the tiles and the roof. So that's all pretty much firewood. We also got permission quite a while ago now, maybe even last year, from our neighbour's plot, because this is our boundary line here. And we've explained in multiple videos where we don't have permission to use the structure, but to keep the soil turned over and fertile, looking after some of her existing veg. She's got some strawberries, grapevines, raspberries, and maybe a fruit tree. So we're looking after that, kind of landscaping it a bit and making use of the land whilst ours looks like a bomb's been dropped on it. So everything's coming really, really green, and like Nish just showed, even getting harvests now. We've got the big bushy lettuce at the back, onions and onions here. We got swede and broccolis and cauliflowers coming up. We got 2 rows of trellis peas and another row of peas at the back, and then 2 patches of carrots. We've only just put in some tomatoes, which will continue down here, and then some more down here. So that's the garden and outdoor pretty much summed up. Now let me show you what's been going on inside. Apart from the cellar, there hasn't been a lot of renovation works or anything of that nature, because we've been trying to focus on getting things done outside whilst the weather's been nice. So let's come on in. So as you can see, we decommissioned the fireplace pretty much because it's getting warmer days and we don't need to rely on the logs, and that's the last bit of logs we've got left with. So the kitchen's looking pretty good, just being lived in, not a lot to show you. But we're aiming to get all these double glazed by the time the next video comes through, and might even have the buttress wall built. We don't know yet. And these double glazed as well. So I'll just show you the change in the cellar. So first of all, the fridge and the freezer used to be here. And then we had like the metal racking filled with all our pantry store, preserved jars and things like that. So temporarily it's just in this little corner, because we're aiming to get this floor concreted pretty sharpish, especially in the nice weather. So that'll all be decommissioned. And then the new tool room that we've kind of just put in this pog, there'll be a door here separately, and that'll be a permanent storage room really. The tools will be in a future workshop when that's built, but we do want to separate that room, or that corner at least, from the final vision. So we're thinking of having some wooden battens, like I said, outside for some future shelves. And the shelves will be on here as well, and maybe bring the fuse board in from outside and mount it there. So that's pretty much what's been going on here. Did you get them out that patch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him. Right, I'll have one.
Yeah. We already had a strawberry today. We're kind of eating them as they're coming off right now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Super juicy.
That one was really sweet.
Yeah, mine was as well. Good one, baby. So like I said, not a lot has gone on upstairs. A little bit of progress in the utility room, trying to box out the washing machine and the dryer. Managed to completely insulate and box out the concrete shelf. And this is a socket that will connect to the generator outside with an extension lead. So that needs to be service mounted. Still using the demo model or from the manufacturer of the boiler. Our black one is still in parts upstairs in the lounge. But you can see we're kind of makeshifting a bit of a frame, and then the future backup water heater will be there to feed the bathroom. So we're thinking of a bit of a seat bench so we can still access the isolator, maybe with some wicker baskets for your gloves and your hats, and then coat pegs up there with some tongue and groove cladding and shelves there. So hopefully that might even be close to being finished by the time of the next video. So now we'll go upstairs, and this is where it gets a bit same as. You don't need to go into the dresser room because it's also a laundry room at the same time. And it's a bomb site, and there's not a lot going on in the bedroom. You can see this is where we sit to do our podcasty sit-down chats with the camera and speak to everyone on the channel, experiences and things like that. We've got a few seedlings left to come out. And you can hear that we've got the aircon on at the minute just to help them out and plus warm the house up as it cools down.
It's cold in the house in May.
Yeah. And then not a lot going on in here. Just storage room for now, to be honest. So we're hoping to get the electric sorted out and a new light fitting before winter, and that's our old boiler in parts there. We fitted the thermostat. Can't remember if that was on the last video. So now when we fill the gas bottles, they last at least 4 times as long as they used to, because it just ticks over a small ignite. It doesn't have to call for huge heat, and keeping it on the thermostat is actually being a lot more efficient. Really helped for the late comings of winter. So we're still not in the climate where we can install the solar panels and start utilising it, because you can see we've got very overcast clouds. But you can really see a difference from the last video, especially with the stump gone. The house is, a third of it's been demolished. Plant is almost finished. And we've got a huge crater in the middle of the garden. So I really hope you've enjoyed this latest house tour video. Like I say, we're 2 months away from being 2 years of us renovating. Not a lot has gone on so far for the last couple of months. As you know, we're on a budget and waiting for the market. But huge changes, to be honest, absolute massive changes from the last video. So if you've watched this far, I really appreciate it, and don't forget to hit that bell and subscribe to see our future videos. Thank you very much for watching, and ciao for now. Bye.